So slicing. Slicing, I see a lot of people make errors when they slice them. A lot of people. There's two main situations where you're going to be slicing the ball. With slicing, one of the reasons you slice is as a defensive measure. If somebody hits the ball really hard, you barely get to it, you can barely full stretch, barely get to it, you slice in order to slow the ball down while keeping it low to give your opponent a hard time getting the ball back. If you like lob it to them right at the net, you're dead. By keeping it low with a slice, you can try and get back in position and not set your opponent up for a kill shot. The other situation is perhaps somebody hits you a drop shot and you run into the net and you want to try and get it back over the net before it bounces so that you can get it back to your opponent quicker and when they're not ready for it. So you go in there and you go to do a slice, right? Those are two different situations, fastball versus slow ball. It's really important to know the distinction because you treat them differently. If you have a slow ball, right? I see a lot of people try and do kind of I'll do it from this side here. They try and do basically like this. They're swinging the paddle down, maybe at an angle. They're swinging the paddle down and hitting the ball this way. Because they've seen the pros do that, or they've seen other people do that. The problem with that is if they're hitting a slow ball and it's one that's been sort of dinked to them and they're trying to get it before it hits the ground, the ball is coming down, the ball is dropping, and the paddle is dropping. There's nothing there other than the angle of the paddle that's trying to get it to go back up over the net. So this thing here, like this on slow dropping balls, is deadly. Hardly ever works. So what you want to do in those situations is not have this slicing down like this, like you're going to cut a watermelon here. This is like you want to do a horizontal swing with the paddle because that's giving you punch. See that? The swing direction, that's the power in the shot, the energy in the shot in the paddle is going in the direction you want the ball to go. So it's saying I want to drive the ball. This is saying I want to knock the ball down on the ground. This says I'm going to drive the ball, and then you put however much angle on the paddle that you need in order for it to pop over the net. That's what gives you the rise. Whereas with a drive shot, like a topspin drive shot, where you do a low to high to get the ball to rise, with the slice, you use the paddle face to get the ball to rise. And this swing like this horizontal swing, is what gives power into it, and then that angle, which you will have to learn to adjust to get it to go over the net, that's what gives you the rise over the net. When you use this one, where you chop down like this, that's when the ball's coming in really fast. And if it's coming in really fast, it's got a fairly horizontal path, so it's not dropping. So you don't have to do this to try and keep it up in the air. It's up in the air. What you want to do with a really fast ball is you want to slow it down, just really slow it down. How do you do that? By doing this. So you don't have much punch. You're not punching the ball. You're trying to slow it down. So there's hardly any forward movement at all in the paddle. And then again, you adjust the angle to give you however much angle you want to go over the net. Because certainly this is not causing it to rise. But it's got so much incoming energy because it's a fast ball that by doing this, just a little bit of angle will cause it to pop up and over. So those are your two different slices, totally different stroke, totally different. So again, on the backhand, you do this arm out, so you do this slice. If you get good at the top spin forehands, you don't have to do the forehand slice much. Same principle though. Slow ball, drop it. You want to basically have a horizontal swing. If it's a slow dropping ball, horizontal swing more and a little bit of angle. But if it's coming in fast, you're reaching out. Instead of the horizontal swing for a fastball, you need to chop it. You chop it. So that's why it's called the slice, right? You slice it.